أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to iTVusa's Ramadan series, Raising Our Children Right. In the 9th episode of this series, today we're going to continue to talk about the first stage of tarbiyah between the ages of 0 to 7. And today we really want to explore the habits that our children learn, where they pick them up from, how they tend to utilize them, and how they show up in different ways. One of the formative habits that we as parents often try to implement in our children in those early stages is the habit of salah. And this is a positive habit, of course, that we want to inculcate in our children and that we want them to come to with a sense of love, a sense of understanding, and a sense of connection. Now, we know that salah is supposed to be taught to our children at age 7, but we also know that very early on, you will see children as young as age 2, 3, 4, emulating their parents, imitating their parents, raising their hands up, saying Allahu Akbar, mimicking the prostration, the sujood, as they are standing in salah because they want to be like their parents. So in order to implement a habit, right, we want to guide our children towards a recognition of the benefit that this action has for them. Too often, when we are teaching our children our salah, we teach it in a very dictatorial way. And so as they get older, our questions to them are, did you make wudu? Did you make salah? Go make wudu again. Go pray your salah. You prayed too quickly. Your wudu was too fast. And it becomes just very much about the action itself rather than the spiritual connection that they are meant to develop through their salah. So when we are first teaching our children, having them learn the Quran, teaching them, the memorization skills that will, of course, help them both intellectually and spiritually as they grow older. We also want to tie to that the meaning-making mechanisms that moves us away from ritualistic practice in terms of faith and into a space of understanding and seeking connection through faith-based practice. Why is this important? So many times as our children get older, go to high school, go to college, they are introduced to the concept of critical thinking. And many times when they are younger, we don't really give them the tools that they need to be able to have positive critical thinking mechanisms in place as they get older. And the reason for this is that many times our response to anything our children, do or ask is because I said so, or we might take the haram and halal approach, you can't do this, it's haram, you can't do this, it's haram. And that becomes just a very linear black or white rather than giving our children tools to think about things and understand them. And this goes for habit formation as well. So when we're teaching our children, for example, Surah Al-Fatiha, guiding them to an understanding of the meaning of the verses and really focusing on specific aspects that are age appropriate. So why in Surah Al-Fatiha does Allah Azza wa Jal guide us towards saying, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, that give us the right path. Why us rather than me, right? Guiding our children towards an understanding of collectivism and the ummah and the importance of making dua not just for yourself but for others as well. When we're teaching our children Surah Al-Asr, guiding them to understanding that there are going to be times when they are probably going to squeeze their prayer in between different things that they're doing throughout the day. And when they do try to squeeze their prayer in and they're conscious of time and they just want to finish quickly, Allah Azza wa Jal often will send the mawhiba, send the intentionality of praying with a short surah. And very often the short surahs that we'll pray with are going to be Surah Al-Ikhlas, Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad, or Surah Al-Asr, right? A chapter that swears by time. And a chapter, Surah Al-Ikhlas, a chapter that reminds us of sincerity. Sincerity in believing that there is no God but Allah. Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad. And guiding our children towards understanding that these moments will happen, that they are not always going to, give their salah full focus, but that doesn't mean that they don't pray, but that they strive to reach that focus. And making ourselves vulnerable and human, letting them know that there are times where maybe it is difficult for us to wake up for Fajr, letting them know that we're not perfect, that there are times where we may delay our salah and wind up praying it late, and that this is a shortcoming that we are working on, and letting our children see how real the striving in our deen really is, so that as they begin to form the habit of salah, it becomes more than just ritual that they're doing because they are told to do it. So that when they raise their hands and say Allahu Akbar, they truly are connecting with the meaning that God is greater than everything that they're putting behind them. So that salah becomes a source of solace. It becomes a source of spiritual recovery that they enter into with intentionality, with recognition that they are not perfect, but they will continue to strive, and with a love of Allah and a love of salah, that the formation of this habit becomes lifelong, not just temporary because we said so. So I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal allows us to build within the hearts of our children this love of Allah, this love of Salah, the love of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal allows our children to be the coolness of our eyes and the reward in this dunya for our hard work as raising righteous children. Join me tomorrow, inshallah, as we continue this journey of understanding how to raise our children right. Jazakum Allahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum.